terrorists are slipping through the cracks all over the place, and we have to get this to stop. Let me tell you about the latest terrorist who slipped through the cracks. His name is Esteban Santiago. I hope that sounds familiar to you. He was the terrorist who shot up the Fort Lauderdale airport last week, killed 5 people, and injured several others. Now, in case that name doesn't ring a bell, it's because the news media has now put this to the back pages. I mean, it's incredible. It's not on the front page of Google anymore. You would think something like this should stay in our consciousness for a lot longer, because we certainly don't want to become desensitized to terrorist attacks, or more and more of them will happen. Now, let me tell you the story of Esteban. Esteban was born in New Jersey. When he was 2 years old, he moved to Puerto Rico, and he joined the Puerto Rico National Guard. He was sent to Iraq, where he then was traumatized by an explosive device, killing his 2 friends. Now, clearly he had a predisposition to schizophrenia, and this trauma brought it out, caused it to gradually manifest when he came back. His family has said that he was never the same since he came back. Now, schizophrenia usually manifests itself from ages 18 to beginning to mid-20s, and so it totally fits the timeline. He was 26 when this terrorist attack occurred last week, and he at one time, according to the family, he was in a psychiatric hospital for a couple of weeks at some vague time, and but he still had these problems. He was having various problems in Anchorage, where he moved to. He joined the Anchorage National Guard. They threw him out this past August. Clearly there were signs all along the way that he was falling apart, and he fell through the cracks. Nobody caught him along the way. This terrorist attack in Fort Lauderdale did not have to have happened if someone was paying attention along the way that he was a terrorist attack waiting to happen. Now, he went to the FBI office in Anchorage, and he told them that he was being controlled. His mind was being controlled by the FBI, who were making him watch ISIS videos. Like, dun, 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 dun. I mean, red flags, blaring. I mean, what more do you have to see to know that this is a guy who you should put on your watch list? So what did they do? They sent him, they had the local police bring him to a psychiatric hospital, who let him out after 4 days. Now, if he would have walked into my emergency room when I was a psychiatrist at Bellevue, I would have locked him up until he got sufficient treatment. Now, you know, psychiatrists these days are, first of all, in denial of terrorism, just like everybody else. Second of all, they are so afraid to step over the line. You know, there are these laws that are meant to protect people so that people don't get locked up forever. And I am not for locking up people forever, but I am for keeping people until they are treated sufficiently so that they are no longer going to be a danger to themselves or others, or not be able to function in life. So he told them at the hospital, not only that the CIA was controlling his mind and making him watch these ISIS videos, which is a pathognomonic sign of schizophrenia, but also that he was hearing voices telling him to join ISIS or be an ISIS sympathizer or create a terrorist attack. I mean, what more does a patient have to tell you for you to know that you need to keep him involuntarily and you need to notify the local authorities? You need to go back to the FBI and tell them we're going to keep him here maybe for a month or 2 months, however long it would have taken to treat him sufficiently, and that after that they need to watch him. I mean, that is what has to happen. There are laws that say, now there are laws, these days there are already laws that say that if you if a patient tells you that they are going to kill somebody and they identify who that is, then a mental health professional is obligated to tell the police about it so that they can warn this person. Well, I'm calling for a law for psychiatrists to have to tell the FBI or the CIA or the local police when someone is psychotic and they are hearing voices or saying that they are being controlled to watch ISIS videos, all these clues that they are a terrorist attack about to happen.